Hello Orchid friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching my video, my channel is all about orchids. From what orchids I have, how I grow them, my thoughts on certain orchid topics, to what orchids in my collection are blooming, etc. So if you want to follow along my orchid hobby adventure, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification. I have talked about this orchid in my video recently already. However, today we're looking at this orchid again because this orchid is a sequential bloomer and it's currently elongating its spikes, and some flowers are already open from the tiny buds that were forming at the time of the last video that I did on this orchid. And to be honest with you, I did not know this orchid is a sequential bloomer, but luckily I kept the flower spike going after the flowers had already finished blooming. Right now what you're seeing is still the peak of its bloom, right? But you can tell that there were still some tiny buds, not the bigger buds that you see, but the tiny buds toward the very end of the spikes. They were actually getting bigger and bigger every day. And that's when I learned that this orchid was a sequential bloomer. But I didn't know that at first. So I'm doing this video because, for those of you out there who also have the same orchid, maybe you already know that this is a sequential bloomer, but maybe you didn't, just like I didn't. Keep your spikes. Don't cut them off until they are yellow and dried up, because they may potentially grow longer and give you more flowers. A lot of my Chinese subscribers really like this orchid for its color combination, but also for the fact that the lips are pretty blue, pretty close to blue, let's say. I think you can call this color like the navy blue or indigo blue. So I really think that this plant is rewarding. I could smell the fragrance a little bit, but primarily it's the shape of the flower, but also the amount of flower that this orchid can produce. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this orchid, and the fact that it's sequential bloomer makes it even better, because that way I can enjoy more blooms for a longer period of time, even though not as many blooms as its peak or its prime, but I'll take any bloom I can get. And so there are quite a few reasons why I don't cut spikes until they turn yellow or dry. Number one reason is that it may produce more, if it's a sequential bloomer, it would elongate and give you more flowers. Number two is it may sometimes shoot out keikis. Number three is I believe that the sap or juice in the spikes can potentially get recycled back into the plant themselves. So for those three reasons, I tend to keep the spikes until I know for sure that they're completely dry. This orchid came to me without flowers, but it did had a new growth attached to the mother plant, and it is the new growth that is, or the keiki, that is currently in bloom. And this time it gives me 2 flower spikes, as you can see, and currently it's still potted in moss, and the roots from the baby or the keiki is doing really well and are growing into the media. I really like the color of its lip, the flower lip. I think you can probably call this color an indigo color. And because in the orchid world, by nature or naturally, it does not have true blue in any orchid. So this is probably as blue as it would get, right? And I usually describe this indigo color like a cross between navy blue and purple. And you see here, the flower actually also has a hint of light blue in the background for the sepals and petals. So far I have not detected any fragrance yet, but it may come out later. I don't know if this particular hybrid is fragrant or not. But even if it's not fragrant, I think just by looking at the flower and the color combination, the light blue or the violet color plus the indigo lip is just a very cool combination to look at. And coming up are some of the photos I have taken of this orchid. When it was developing its spike, they were pretty soft, so I only used the sticks to stake them for slightly. Because they were really soft in the beginning, I did not want to tie them up because I was afraid that my fingers would mess up the buds or even break the flower spike. So I waited until more buds have become bigger and the spike have gotten even longer and stronger to start tying them to the taller portion of the stick. And here is the first bloom. I really enjoyed the lip and the light purple or violet color in the background for the on the sepals and petals. This one is still in moss, like I said earlier, so, and I think it's in a 2.5-inch pot. So the amount of water that I typically give to this orchid is about anywhere between 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 cup, depending on during that particular water cycle, depending on the way I feel when it's in my on my palm. And you can see in the background there, the original flower spike of the mother plant has yellowed, and after this video it started to dry, so I basically just cut it from the very base. And now the keiki, the baby, is blooming, so I haven't done anything in terms of removing the moss yet because I want to make sure that I gave this orchid a chance to finish its bloom before I do any kind of major change to its growing environment or the mediate. And if I don't repot this orchid this year, I'll probably have to wait until early spring next year to repot it. And I look at the moss, I think the moss is still quite okay. And if I just keep it semi-dry, it should be able to last until then. Also, I have only given this orchid water, no fertilizer yet, because I don't know too much about this orchid. Some people say that you can give some weak fertilizer to your flowering orchid to extend the flower. But because it hasn't been proven and I haven't really tried that, so I don't know if that's really the case. For those of you who have experience, let me know if that really has worked for you. Okay, so this is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. And if you have any question at all, feel free to make a comment down below and I will try to get back to you in a timely manner. Okay, I want to wish you happy growing and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao! This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!